Hello, this is James George with another episode of Web Design Blog, and this week I'm going to show you how to create a jQuery slider inside of uh, Foundation 5, and they call it an orbit slider, and basically it's really easy to do, and I'm going to show you just how easy it is. And so normally there's a lot of script to be embedded inside of an orbit, and you got to do all these different parameters and all this stuff, and it's usually complicated, or you at least have to have some knowledge of JavaScript. But in this scenario, that's not really the case. They even provide the basic code for you, the basic HTML to be able to do this, and all that you need to really make sure that you do is inside of your document, you want to make sure that the foundation, the js/foundation.min.js, basically foundation.min.js is the whole JavaScript library for all the little extras that are found in Foundation. If you load that, then it's automatically loaded into Foundation. And so just make sure that that's included at the bottom of your HTML file. And so to create an orbit or a slider, I'm just going to call it a sliding gallery because that's what everybody else knows it as. To create a sliding gallery, all that you really need to do is you create an unordered list. Just wrap it all in a big UL tag with a class of orbit. Example orbit. And so then inside of that, you want to make sure that you have data orbit there, and inside of there you have list items. And so here's your open and closing list item, and each one of these is a different chunk. So this is an image and a caption, this is an image and a caption, this is an image and a caption. Pretty simple. And so inside of that list item, you can place your image with an alt tag. And so you can make it pretty descriptive if you want. It's probably better than using slide 1, slide 2, slide 3, unless you just want to do that. But you just link to your images, and then you use div class equals orbit caption, and that is your caption for your sliding gallery. And so you can place pretty much any kind of HTML that you want in there. You can use H2 tags, the P tag for paragraph, pretty much anything. So you're not limited to just using text. See, inside of the example, it's just got basic text, but I'll show you in the slider that I created for Silverback. You could see here, I believe this is an H2 tag, and then this is, I'll just inspect it and I'll show you. And so an H2 tag and then an H4. But you could easily change this to a P tag if you wanted to. It just depends on what kind of HTML you want to place here. You could even create add buttons here or a link or something. It's really not difficult. You're not limited to really anything, just whatever you can come up with. And so you place that caption, you close the div, you close the list item, you create a new one that's basically the same thing. Wash, rinse, and repeat for as many slides as you want, but of course you want to keep it to about 5 to 7 at the most. Not many people are going to sit there and look at 20 slides. It's just not going to happen. And by default, this will be a gallery with the little bullets, and it counts and it even keeps track. There's a little bar here that keeps track of how long it's going to take before this cycles, and you've got your forward and back arrows, and so all that can be controlled via data orbit and data options. And so right after data orbit you say data options equal, and then you sort of, it's almost like a CSS style syntax where you state the parameter and then you state how much it's going to be. Like the animation speed is 500 milliseconds. Timer speed is 4,000 milliseconds, which is basically 4 seconds. This is standard. If you used another sliding gallery or jQuery slider, it would be on milliseconds as well, and so you would see 4,000 or 5,000 milliseconds. That's pretty standard. Pause on hover, true. That means when you hover over the slider, it's going to stop cycling so that you can. This is a user interface element that makes things really nice for people that don't want it to cycle through while they're reading it, because that's annoying. You know, you want to know something, you just mouse over it. That's pretty standard for most sliders, and it will stop so that you could read all of that slide, not worry about it having, going to the next slide on you. So pause on hover is true. If you want to get rid of that, you just say false, and that goes for any of this. Resume on mouse out. That means when you remove your mouse, is it going to go back to cycling? Set that to true. If you've got it set to pause on hover, it's pretty much common sense. Then slider number, false. In this slider, I didn't want the numbers to show, and I also didn't want the bar to show, the progress bar. I just wanted it to cycle through the slides. And then bullets I set to false, because I wanted to butt the content up against the bottom of it. I didn't want the bullets to show either. I wanted all this to be pretty seamless and fit together. And so there's the image, the alt, there's your caption, H2 and H4, and I've got that for 3 different slides. And then close it up with the closing unordered list tag. And that's it. And so this automatically cycles through every 4 seconds, and it's responsive as well. And so it works just fine. And that's how easy it is to implement in your own website. I hope you guys have found this useful, and if you have any questions about how this works, you've got plenty of documentation here, but also feel free to post your questions on Web Design Blog's comment section. I'll be happy to answer any questions if I can. I'll do my best. It shows you, the documentation is pretty straightforward, and it will show you how all of this works. You can even set different parameters here. Data orbit slide equals headline, and that's how you can control this. You've got different controls. You can deep link, where you have a button that controls the slider itself instead of the bullets. Most people know that the bullets work the same, so it just depends on what style you want. You can customize it with Sass. And here is a list of all the different parameters. If you have any questions, you could refer to all these. And this will help you out a lot. It tells you, lists everything that you'll need to know. Well, that's it for this week. Subscribe to Web Design Blog, and subscribe to the Web Design Blog YouTube channel. Feel free to contact me if you need anything. I'm James George, and this is another episode of Web Design Blog.